Alright, hey guys, so today I'm gonna be telling y'all about finding the chain rule and solving more complex derivative problems using that. So first we're just gonna go over the definition. So a chain rule is gonna be anytime you have an equation that looks such as f of g of x and you're taking the derivative of it with relation to x. So just like your product, sum, or quotient rules, you're going to have an equation that you need to write it out for. So if you have something that's like f of g of x, you're going to be taking the derivative of f. So right over here we have f prime of g of x times g prime of x. So the reason it's like that is so f is going to be, like f of x is going to be your outside function, and you're going to take the derivative of that first. But whatever is in your parentheses or inside is not going to change. So you're going to keep that the same and then multiply it by the derivative of the inside. Just like right there. Alright, and then that'll make more sense when we go over the example. Alright, so right here I have an example written down. So this is going to be our example problem. So we're taking the derivative with relation to x of the square root of 3x squared minus x. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to define what your outside and inside function is. So in this case, our outside function is going to be f of x equals the square root, and I just put x under to motion that's underneath it. So that's going to be our outside function, and our inside function is going to be the g of x, which is just under the radical, and it's 3x squared minus x. So I went ahead and wrote it out right here. F of g of x is going to equal the square root, because that's your outside function, with the g of x underneath it, and you can see like the arrows pointing that that's where it's going to go. So it's basically just rewritten. For solving your outside function first, which is going to be f prime, I just went ahead and did it with x first because it's simpler that way and you're not going to make as many like algebra mistakes. So you're just taking the derivative of the square root of x, and that's the same thing as x to the 1/2 power. So that's just using like the exponential thing. So you move the 1/2 over in front of the x and then subtract 1 from your n, which is the 1/2. So you have 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. So that's going to be that first part of the equation that I showed y'all. And then remember, you got to plug in your inside function because that doesn't ever change. So we have right here the derivative of f of x equals 1/2 times 3x squared minus x, because that's the same as our g function right here, all to the negative 1/2 power. And I wrote it out right here. That's what that equals. But if you remember from our other one, for the chain rule, it's f prime of g of x. So we just solved that times the derivative of your inside function, which is g of x. So we've already solved the first part right there. And then we have to solve for the g prime of x. So your g prime of x is your inside function, which we defined right up here. So you're just taking the derivative of that. So you move the 2 down, so it's 3 times 2, which is 6x, and it's 2 minus 1, so x to the 1 power. And then you're taking the derivative of x, which is just 1. So the derivative of the inside function is going to be 6x minus 1. So then for your final answer, and here I'll write it in green, you're going to have 1/2 times 3x squared minus x, all to the negative 1/2, and be careful when you're rewriting it, that way you don't make like stupid rewriting errors and get points off. So then for this one, your final answer is going to be 1/2 3x squared minus x all to the negative 1/2 times 6x minus 1. So some key things to remember whenever you're using the chain rule is to never change your inside function and make sure that you recognize when to stop taking the derivative of anything. So you have f of g of x, so it's going to be outside times your inside, and that could be not just in an instance like this, but any other type of thing, such as sine of 2x plus 3. That's an instance where you would need to use the chain rule. So you would take the derivative of sine first, which you all know would be cosine, and then keep the inside the same, and then multiply it again by the derivative of the inside, and once you do that, you stop. So don't keep taking the derivative and taking the derivative, because you'll go too far and then you're doing unnecessary work. So I hope that y'all now know how to do the chain rule. Yeah.